Prior to 1992 and the creation of Clydebank Asbestos Group, those diagnosed with an asbestos-related disease were left pretty much to their own devices. Following World War II and its devastating effects on Clydebank and the surrounding area, great efforts were made to regenerate the area. Clydebank was booming, but with it came asbestos production. Clydebank became known as the asbestos capital of Europe. Over time, the devastating consequences on the health of many workers began to surface. Exposure to asbestos resulted in diagnosis of pleural plaques, pleural thickening, asbestosis, and mesothelioma. In many cases, this meant reduced life expectancy and premature death. David Coleraine and his wife Jean, together with a few like-minded trade union activists and campaigners, decided enough was enough. From around the Coleraines' kitchen table, Clydebank Asbestos Group was formed. In February 2001, the insolvency of Chester Street Insurance Holdings Limited threw into doubt compensation claims for thousands of UK asbestos victims. As more was learned, pressure intensified for a public inquiry. On March 31, 2001, 1,000 demonstrators gathered to protest the injustice caused by the collapse of Chester Street at a rally organised by Clydebank Asbestos Group. Following the public inquiry, the Association of British Insurers was instructed to raise a levy on the industry to compensate those victims adversely affected by Chester Street's actions. On 7th of June 2007, the Scottish Parliament Public Petitions Committee took oral evidence from Bob Dickey, Joan Baird and Tommy Gorman on behalf of Clydebank Asbestos Group. The outcome of this campaign was a decision to prescribe the medication Alimta for mesothelioma patients in Scotland, as well as England, Wales and Northern Ireland. On 11th of March 2009, the Damages Asbestos-Related Conditions Scotland Bill was passed by the Scottish Parliament. It remains one of the most important advances made for Scottish asbestos victims. Clydebank Asbestos Group is an active member of the UK Asbestos Victim Support Groups Forum. In 2017, the forum successfully took Cape Intermediate Holdings, an asbestos producer and manufacturer, all the way to the Supreme Court. The judge ruled in the forum's favour, and a huge amount of previously privately kept court documents were released. What better way to explain the service approach than through a case study? Mr. C was diagnosed with mesothelioma and was 81 years old. He lived with his wife. Throughout his working life, he was employed in heavy industry, including John Brown's shipyard in Clydebank. Mr. C was an electrician. We made an application for attendance allowance. It was paid within 10 days of applying and at a higher rate of £92.40 per week. We were able to help Mr. C get a home care package and a stair lift. Through a Macmillan Energy Action Scotland scheme, we also got a new central heating system installed, free of charge. Applications were made for industrial injuries benefit, constant attendance allowance and pneumoconiosis workers' compensation payment. All of these were successful and Mr. C received an additional £247.20 per week and a one-off payment of £13,590. Digby Brown solicitors raised a civil damages claim against some of Mr. C's former employers. Sadly, due to the poor prognosis and severity of Mr. C's illness, he died before the successful outcome of his case. His wife was awarded a civil compensation payment in excess of £130,000. Mr. C's son and daughter also received a compensation payment in excess of £50,000 each, and each of his grandchildren also received payments.